Spill your beans.
What is up everyone? Kembali lagi bersama gua, Woodcock TV. Sekarang gue pengen ngobrol-ngobrol lagi nih tentang film, ya, film yang baru keluar. You guys can see it on the TV behind me, The Mandalorian and Grogu. Gue sebenarnya udah ngomongin tentang film ini di TikTok, di Reels ya, dengan format yang pendek. Gue ngomong kayak my short first impression aja. Di sini gue pengen ngomong lebih dalam, but not too deep because this is gonna be unscripted. So this is the first unscripted video that I've ever done, I think, for my channel. So yeah, pardon me if I make mistakes, if the flow isn't as fluid as my usual videos. Tapi this is gonna be me, unfiltered, unscripted, just a yep session basically about The Mandalorian and Grogu. So yeah, again, as I said in my first impression, ini film sebenarnya lebih terasa kayak a TV special, right? A Disney Plus special dari serial The Mandalorian, right? It's almost 2.5 hours long, but it clearly did not need to be that long. You know what I mean? Kayak plot dari film ini tuh sebenarnya apa ya? Menurut gua bisa disederhanakan gitu loh. Okay, because it's trying to like combine a few different episodes of The Mandalorian. Well, I don't know if that's factually true or not, but it feels like it in the writing. Kayak lo bisa mengidentify titik awal dan titik akhir dari satu episode yang ada di film ini gitu. Dan itu berulang kali muncul selama, I don't know, maybe 3 or 4 times. So there's like 3 or 4 episodes worth of story that they try to like fit in into one very long movie that didn't need to be that long. Okay, of course I gotta preface this with an admission. Ya, gue mau mengaku kalau gue ini bukan fan Star Wars, at least not anymore. Right, my attachment with this franchise, this IP, has long since gone. Right, kayaknya semenjak The Rise of Skywalker, right, itu film yang gue tonton di bioskop pertama kali yang gue walk out chat. Can you believe that? Dan setelah itu kayak gue udah gak pernah memerhatikan Star Wars lagi sih, aside from The Mandalorian series. I think I watched like season 1 and 2. Gue udah lupa, itu udah lama banget. But it's certainly a weird time to release this movie because like, where's the hype? You know what I mean? Kayak ini udah 7 tahun nggak ada film Star Wars di layar lebar, and you come out with The Mandalorian and Grogu. Kayak pas pertama kali gue tahu ini bakal ada filmnya di layar lebar tahun 2026, gue kayak agak bingung sebenarnya. Kayak okay, so this is your big return to the big screen, right? From the final chapter of the Skywalker saga, you go to this, The Mandalorian and Grogu, 2 characters who have like, I don't know, practically zero significance to the entire Star Wars canon, I guess. Gue gak tau ya itu menghina buat fans Star Wars atau enggak, but that's just how I feel, right? Like, I don't see why you need to make a 2 hour and 15-minute long movie about these 2 characters, you know? One being a faceless bounty hunter yang sebenarnya gak punya personality atau cukup menarik untuk jadi protagonis dari sebuah film panjang, dan satunya lagi, it's a fucking toy. Grogu is not a character. I don't care what you say. It's a toy. Alright? Pertama kali muncul, yes, okay, it's cute. It's baby Yoda, right? Like Yoda is easily one of the most iconic characters from Star Wars. Terus sekarang ada versi bayinya. Dia nggak bisa ngomong, dia cuma bisa berbicara kayak sebuah bayi gitu kan. Very cute. Like apapun yang dia lakukan di film ini itu menggemaskan. Gue nggak bisa bohong gitu. Tapi at some point like I got tired of it. I don't know. Ya emang filmnya ini buat anak-anak sih, jadi ya wajar aja. Cuman this movie abandons all sense of like, I don't know, like quality in the screenplay in favor of cute Grogu moments. Grogu is gonna sell a fuck ton of toys, but like that's the main selling point of a Star Wars movie, really? By the way, this discussion is gonna be full of spoilers. Jadi kalau kalian gak pengen kan spoilers, please nonton dulu filmnya. Nanti kalian bisa balik lagi ke channel gue untuk nonton review ini secara full. Okay, this is your final warning. 3, 2, 1. Jujur adegan pembuka film ini menarik. Pas Mandalorian ini lagi ngebantain sisa-sisa dari Empire gitu kan. Gue pikir ini film bakal fokus ke membongkar konspirasi tentang kemunculannya Empire yang baru gitu dari sisa-sisa Empire yang lama, right? Like at least that's what the opening sequence suggested. Tapi pas sudah selesai misi pertamanya itu, dia balik ke New Republic yang dipimpin sama Sigourney Weaver. dia tiba-tiba dikasih misi untuk ngebantuin si kembar dari keluarga Hutt. Ya, these are like Jabba the Hutt's cousins or siblings. I don't know, gue nggak familiar. But he's back doing like random side quests for crime bosses. Kayak gue bingung gitu loh. What the fuck is happening here? Terus yang gue bingungin juga ya, sebenarnya kan misi keduanya dia yang Sigourney Weaver nyuruh dia pergi untuk ketemu sama si kembar Hutt itu cuman buat nyari tahu sebenarnya mereka mau nyuruh dia ngapain. Itu kenapa nggak lewat telepon aja gitu loh? Ini kan udah canggih nih teknologi komunikasinya. Kayak telepon aja nanya gitu loh. Oi, lu pada mau nyuruh gua ngapain sih? Daripada si Mandonya harus pergi jauh-jauh ke planetnya si kembar itu cuman buat dapat info kalau mereka butuh Mando nyelamatin ponakan mereka, si Rota. Kayak effort banget anjing, udah ada teknologi telepon-telepon gitu kan. Ini udah di masa depan teknologi lu canggihnya. Oke lah, gua memutuskan untuk ikutin aja alurnya gimana. Which brought them to this like cyberpunk Blade Runner-esque planet, which was cool in design. Skornya Ludwig Göransson juga di sini menurut gue paling oke gitu ya. Di sini dia ketemu sama that Rota the Hutt character, which actually plays a prominent role in this movie, right? And believe it or not, I think Rota the Hutt is the most interesting and multi-dimensional character in this fucking movie. Okay, you got the protagonist who is always wearing a helmet and has zero personality, just aura farming wherever he goes. That's basically his entire character. And this fucking green baby toy. Jadi siapa gitu karakter yang bisa gua invested in terms of like character development and everything. Ya satu-satunya opsi yang dikasih sama film ya adalah a fucking Hutt. Okay, anaknya Jabba the Hutt, who is Rota the Hutt. Yang pas di reveal itu ternyata dia seorang gladiator di sebuah Star Wars version of Colosseum, I guess. And I kid you not, this was taken straight out of Thor Ragnarok. You know what I mean? Waktu si Thor nyamperin Hulk di planet apa gue nggak tahu yang dipimpin sama Jeff Goldblum. Terus kerjanya tuh dia cuma di Colosseum ngeberantemin alien-alien gitu kan. That's basically what happens with this son of Jabba the Hutt character. And I'm telling you guys, my jaw dropped to the floor when I saw the design of this character. Okay, because kita kan udah terbiasa untuk ngelihat ras dan keluarga Hutt itu dengan bentuk yang kayak apa ya, gigantic slugs, right? And Rota the Hutt was fucking jacked, chat. Like, oh my god, his chest was like so fucking wide and built. I want to know his workout routine, like for real. Bro, he was tough as fuck. You know, he has that signature move like where he rolls on the ground and shit. Kayak jujur itu keren. But okay, like what makes him the most interesting character is because like he has like an actual arc. We get to know his personality, what he fears, what he desires, and all that stuff. Kayak maksudnya, they actually made an effort into writing this character properly. You know what I mean? Nggak kayak Mandalorian sama Grogu yang kerjanya cuma aura farming sama milking kegemasannya dia. At least the writers tried to do something with Rota's character, and he was voiced by none other than Jeremy Allen White. Dan dia menggunakan basically his natural voice for this slug alien character. Pakai suara Jeremy Allen White, so that sounded like super uncanny, but okay, I rolled with it. Alright, I rolled with it. And the movie made it very clear that he wanted to be his own man. He was not going to be Jabba the Hutt 2.0. Okay, dia udah gak mau hidup di bayang-bayang ayahnya lagi. Dia mau escape the life of a thug, crime boss, dan dia mau jadi his own man. Oh my god, like there's so many times Rota the Hutt just keeps on saying like that he wants to be his own man, right? So we have to believe that. We have to respect that, you know? He could have just easily become a fat slob like his dad. But no, he wanted to be his own man. Sampai situ masih oke nih. At least from an experience standpoint, kayak gue belum bosen-bosen banget lah. Menurut gue filmnya udah mulai kehilangan arah atau udah nggak tahu lagi mau dilanjutinnya gimana. Itu ketika Mandalorian dikidnap, ya diculik, dibawa ke planetnya si kembar itu untuk gue juga bingung sih sebenarnya. Mereka mau dia mati, disiksa atau gimana gitu. Because like there are so many times where they could have just ended him right then and there, you know. Atau mungkin kayak at least lu colong dulu lah itu armornya yang kata lu nilainya itu bisa luar biasa di black market. Tapi tetap aja gitu dibiarin pakai armornya, terus baru dicemplungin ke this, I don't know, this pool, I guess, which contain like a really badass and well-designed dragon snake hybrid, right? Itu gue suka. Tapi ya, mulai bagian ini tuh udah mulai gak jelas, udah mulai gak ada arah, gak tahu ceritanya kayak gimana. Gak signifikan sama sekali, kayak gak punya konsekuensi yang bener-bener nyata. So the stakes are super low. And then for some reason, si Grogu bisa gitu loh untuk travel through hyperspace and rescue Mandalorian. I tried to like suspend my disbelief aja lah ya. Okay, I rolled with it again to see what's up. And basically these little creatures, including Baby Yoda, kayak nemuin Mandalorian-nya by plot convenience, I guess. They escaped, tapi Mandalorian was injured and nggak bisa gerak gitu ya. He was incapacitated for like a few days, I guess. Dan ini adalah episode di mana Grogu berkelana sendiri untuk menyelamatkan si Mandalorian. Okay, this was the most boring part of this movie, I feel like. The way it's able to use its force powers, itu kayak cuman ketika filmnya butuh gitu loh. Ketika plotnya convenient untuk dia menggunakan kekuatan force-nya itu baru ada kekuatannya kepake. I just feel like this character is such a gimmick, man. Like, at that point, I was already tired of him. So, I did not enjoy that Grogu solo episode. Tiba-tiba dia berhasil untuk nyelamatin si Mandalorian melalui bantuan another alien. And Mandalorian says like, old protect the young, and the young protect the old. This is the way, or something like that. Terus dia nanya lagi ke si Grogu kayak, do we run or do we fight? And basically they decide to fight. Kayak semua dialognya Mandalorian itu kayak cuman buat aura farming, clip farming doang, chat. Gak tau lah ya, gue bingung sih. Terus basically Sigourney Weaver datang nyelamatin mereka semua. Man, Sigourney Weaver, I love you. You deserve to be paid a fortune for all your contributions to cinema. But man, di sini dia kelihatan banget she was not trying, chat. Kayak literally semua line-nya dia itu diucapkan secara sedatar mungkin. Kayak dia ada lomba gitu ya sama Pedro Pascal for who can deliver their lines the flattest way possible. Let's head home. Let's blow the swamp up. This whole movie was just super, I don't know, I guess inconsequential ya, karena stakes-nya tuh rendah banget gitu. Why does this story warrant a feature-length film? I don't get it, karena there's no consequence to the story of the New Republic. Kalau kita mau percaya bahwa fokusnya itu adalah di antara Mandalorian sama Grogunya, their relationship is the same in the start of the movie and at the end of it. Padahal mereka adalah the central characters and their names are in the title. What gives? Okay, so yeah, Mandalorian and Grogu, man, one of the worst movies I've seen so far in 2026, I think. But yeah, what do you guys think? Do you guys agree with me or not? Let me know in the comments ya, chat. Feel free to disagree. Tapi kalau kalian emang serius suka sama Mandalorian Grogu, get the fuck out of my channel. Gak ada. Bercanda.